So I wanted to do some UI feedback, and I figured the easiest way is going to be to make a video so I can show exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I don't know how much of this stuff is because it's alpha and it's being worked on, or if it's an actual bug, or if it's just design decisions that I think might need to be tweaked a little, but I'm going to go over all of it in case. So the first thing is that when I log into the game, I want to look at my heroes. And right now, it is not obvious how you do that. How you actually do that is you hit shop, but my suggestion would be that there needs to be a heroes tab at the top, even if it just takes you to the shop, just because it's not super obvious. So in the shop, I have a couple things. So here I can look at Stitches. This is great. I can look at his quest talents, but if I go to his appearance and I look at his skins, I cannot try these skins. I can also not see the purchase price on these skins. If I want to look at the skins, apparently what I have to do is go back to the main thing, go to skins, and then find Stitches' skins. And then it allows me to try, and it gives me their price. It should be available in both locations. So the other thing that kind of bothered me is these little arrows over here. What they do is they take you to the next hero. Now that's not a bad design, but what I was thinking when I was looking at this just absent-mindedly, I was clicking it to go to the next tab, and then it would take me to this hero that, oh, I have to go back, and then I have to go to the correct tab. Either these should have tooltips to say next hero, or you should have a little arrow maybe that takes you to the next tab, and then this one takes you to the whole next hero. Something about that just needs to be made a little bit more intuitive. The other thing that I'm a little curious about that isn't labeled is how the hero or the hero alternate skins tints are unlocked. It says complete hero quests to unlock, but it doesn't really it doesn't seem to be the case, so I don't know if that is not true or if it's just not labeled. The other thing is, for example, how these mount alternate tints are unlocked. Are they given to you automatically when you purchase that mount, or do they come with some sort of quest you have to unlock, player level, something like that? It might be something that you know immediately once you purchase that mount, but it's also something that should be labeled on the screen to let you know. For example, the brown horse is free, but I don't have either of these tints, and I don't know how I would unlock those. You obviously can't purchase them, so I'm not really sure. The other thing that kind of bothers me, I'll go back in here, is if I want to go look at the heroes or the skins again from this tab, there is no button. I just have to hit back a bunch. And, oops, hit back too many times. So I kind of think that once you're in the store, you should have all tabs of the store available. So the other thing that a lot of people have been commenting on, we'll go to practice mode since this doesn't affect anyone. There's a bug right now where your heroes get scrolled over this way, and so you can only see last week's hero, and of course they're grayed out. Now, this could be fixed by just hitting the over arrow, but the problem is people don't seem to realize that you can do that. And I think that's because there's not enough movement in this upper screen, and so maybe when you go to the screen, these heroes should scroll out automatically, so you can see right away from the start that this moves, or these arrows should be made more obvious or something like that. Obviously, it's a simple fix. You just hit the over arrow, but I've seen thread after thread after thread in the bug report forums where people don't realize you can do that. So even if it's their mistake, there's something that needs to be changed within the game so we don't have so many people making that mistake. So let's go back. Quit will take me out of this menu, and then back. There's just a lot of, you have to hit a lot of quits and a lot of backs to get between areas, and I think that should be improved somehow. So the other thing on this screen is that these filters, we have all roles, which is your filter, but it filters by role, of course. I think that should be renamed to filter, and it should have all the classes. It should also have ranged, melee, maybe even difficulty. The other thing is over here, release date is actually a sort by order, although you wouldn't know that because it says release date. It should say sort by, and then it should have release date as one of the options. So let's go back to the practice menu. Sorry, I'm sort of jumping around. So on here, you have at the very start, you have random hero. It doesn't really say, it should say in the tooltip whether this is random from all the heroes or random from the weekly free heroes or random from any heroes you have available to play, which would include your purchased heroes as well. It doesn't say that. I think it should. So the next thing is this party UI. I don't really know what this is for. I have an invite button, but I don't know who I'm inviting. Invite to party, okay, and cancel. I mean, it doesn't really say, again, that maybe that's an alpha thing. I don't know, does it list your party members here? I'm not really sure. So, and on the friends list, your friends should say what they're doing at this time. They don't. It will say available or AFK based on the color of this light here. But it should say, you know, if they're in game, if they're in practice mode, if they're in co-op mode, versus mode, they're looking at the menu, stuff like that. It's especially relevant since you can't see whispers in game. So often I would whisper my friend, I'd be like, what the fuck, they're ignoring me. And they're not ignoring me, they're in a game. So let's test out a practice mode because there's a few things there. Actually, I'm going to go back because I don't remember if I'm on practice mode. It should say somewhere what mode I have selected. So let's go back. Let's go to practice mode. I don't want to think I'm in practice mode and then turn out I'm in co-op mode because I'm just going to be showing you stuff.
I serve.
So actually on this screen, you should be able to access quests and stuff. Because in co-op and versus mode, you're often in a long queue, and you can't access the shop, you can't access your quest, you can't look at anything while you wait in the queue. And that is something that should definitely be fixed. So while this loads, I also want to suggest that quests be accessible in-game. Right now you cannot look at your quests in-game, you cannot track your quests in-game, and both of those things I think should definitely be implemented. The other problem right now is the chat. This is probably a bug, but just to mention it.
The battle begins in 30 seconds.
So if you see that, you can finish the sentence. I can't type well, so I'm just going to stop. If you type a lot, it gets cut off and you can't see the end of what you're typing.
In 10 seconds.
So I'm
5,
still hitting paste
4,
and it's not going over. I guess
3,
it's harder because I'm
2,
doing different words.
1.
So that's one thing. Also, it went so far that it actually literally cut off my text in the window, which is the first time I've seen that. The other thing is there's no scroll bar here. So once that text fades off your screen, you can never see it again, which is a little frustrating in team matches. Again, I'm sure this particular case is a bug or just, you know, an alpha thing, but I do want to mention that it definitely needs a scroll bar. It would also be nice if you could unlock it and move that chat window somewhere else. And again, you should be able to see whispers from your friends in-game. There could be a setting to say that you want to block whispers in-game or that you want to have it auto-respond that you're in-game and you can't read it at the moment. Something like that, but it should definitely be available for you to do that. So, and then the final thing that kind of bothers me is if I hit escape when I'm in a match, it has quit and return to game. This should be clear that you're just quitting the match. And you should also have a leave game option. So it should say quit match and then a leave game instead of just quit. So I think that's all my feedback that I have right now on the UI. But I think a lot of those are things that definitely need to be fixed or clarified or explained with tooltips, something like that. So I hope that was helpful. I figured it was easier to make a video than type it all up.